from Scuderia Audio, and today we're going to be installing some component speakers in a 458. Specifically, we're going to be installing some of these Focal Flax Series speakers in a 458 Spider. So let's take a quick look. So what we'll be doing is removing the door card off the Spider and installing these Flax Series Midrange in the doors. The tweeters are in the dash. It's another video. However, you always have the option of installing a high-end two-way speaker in the door if you don't want to get into the dash. In our kit, we also include these stainless adapter rings. They're laser cut, stainless fasteners are TIG welded in the back, and then they're lined with this dyno liner foam material from Dynamat, which makes it nice acoustically. Now, you may or may not have seen my video on how to remove the door card and install the component speakers in a 360 or 430, but I'm telling you, it's 10 times easier to do this with a 458. I mean, Ferrari really upped their game on the design, the construction, no more cardboard. It's high impact plastic door card with metal hardware, and you don't need a whole selection of tools like you did for the 360 and the 430. In fact, with the exception of having to remove one 10mm nut off a threaded stud and needing a butter knife, or if you have one, some sort of a slim pry material to pry off the little A-pillar cover, these are the tools that you need right here. That's it. 3 Allen wrenches. A 3mm, a 4mm, and a 5mm Allen wrench. Okay, well, we have a stunning white on black 458 Spider waiting for us, so let's definitely go out and play with the car. Okay, well, here's our gorgeous 458 Spider. And what we're going to do, we're going to remove this door card, take out the OEM mid-range, install the Focal mid-range with our stainless adapter plate, and put the door card back on. So give me a second to reposition the camera and we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing we have to do up here is to remove this little A-pillar thing, kind of like the same thing with the 360s and the 430s. You just have to pry it off. So we're going to get our trusty butter knife, and we need to make sure, same thing as the 360s and the 430s, you don't want to pry on the bottom because there's a little hook down here. You want to pry on the top. Now, as an aside, I've been criticized for using butter knives on zillion-dollar Ferraris in the videos. And, you know, people say, oh, you need to get a set of those professional trim remover. Well, can you zoom the camera out for me, please? Okay, I have all those. But the thing is that most of my customers do not have those. And if you couldn't safely remove stuff like this with a butter knife, there's no way I would endorse it. Can you zoom back in, please? Okay, so you just get a non-serrated, smooth butter knife, or something like it, and you just get in there near the top, not the very top, but kind of sort of near the top, and put your fingers on this side where you can get your fingers in there and pry, and then you use this for leverage over here and then pry on this front side. And you know, back here, it's one of those stupid little plastic Christmas tree looking things that I hate, and they kind of get distorted a little bit, but it is what it is. Now, the little Christmas tree thing has a base that gets locked inside a rubber hole back here on this piece. So that whole thing may come out with this, okay? Don't panic if it does. We'll see what happens when we go to take this one out. So pry, and then jiggle a little bit, then pry some more. Okay, you hear that? It popped out of there, and then now you kind of pull it down and lift it up, because see that hook right there? Now, of course, the whole little Christmas tree thing kind of stuck in here, and the base popped out of this hole. Well, don't panic. Just get this little Christmas tree thing out, right? And then just kind of finagle the base back into that rubber mounting hole. Actually, excuse me, let me get something smaller. Just kind of work it back into that hole. There we go. Yeah, now it's all ready for at the end when you want to just hook this back in there and then just press it back in, okay? Now, let me refocus the camera, because now we're going to take this big door card off. Okay, so actually I chose the passenger side for this video because it has this extra step with this door handle. So the first thing we have to remove is the door handle. Well, specifically, we have to remove this door handle leather cover first. So you just grab this thing, and it's easier if you grab it from the bottom and just yank it off of there. Okay, there's a couple little tabs and slots. Then you grab your 5mm Allen, and you remove the machine screws. You want to take both bolts completely out before you start pulling on this, because you have to kind of pull it up and out, okay? All right, let me reposition the camera, and then we're going to work on removing the door handle. Okay, so, you know, this is kind of like the 430 and the 360, where you have to hold this spring-loaded lever up. Remember, you want to hold this up with your thumb, but you also want to kind of get your thumb in here so that you can hold the rest of this, you know, down, because when you get in underneath here with your 3mm Allen and you back this machine screw out, this whole thing is going to want to come up, right? So you just kind of hold it like that. You get in there, you back this Allen machine screw out. See, you could feel it kind of wanting to come up. So you just pull it forward just a little bit, right? And then remember, there's a cable with that little kink in it, that little bend that goes into the hole, right? If you flip this over, you see that. You kind of just pop this cable out of this groove, you know, and just kind of sort of finagle that little kink out of there. And then there's just this one connector for the electronics. It's just that standard, you know, you grab this little, pull this little tab out, and it just pops right out, okay? Now, I don't know if you can see this. I am going to reposition the camera. Hold on. Okay, you see in there? You see that one lone 4mm Allen? Well, you get your 4mm wrench, and you take him out. He's actually the only machine screw that's holding this entire center piece onto the car. All the rest are those little tabs that you pop them in and pop them out. So let me refocus the camera, and now we're going to take this center piece out. Okay, now this may look a little scary, but as my friend Steve says, it ain't no thing. It actually says to do this in the 458 shop manual, right? This whole thing is held on by those little pop things. So you just start grabbing it and prying it off of there. Get your hand back there, right? Then you get your hand in the front, you start popping it Oh, it's a lot of force. The thing comes off just like that. See, there's all these, and it's not some cheap cardboard. There's these nice little steel, little arrow looking things, and they pop into these other spring steel things. So, I mean, you're not going to hurt it. So that's that. Okay, so we're going to have to remove this big door card. Okay, there's no getting around it. You can't like remove this grill piece and get to the speaker somehow. It's all one piece. However, this is really, really easy, right? Excuse me. You see, there's a bunch of 5mm Allen head machine screws. That's basically all that's holding this thing on. Now, there are 3 4mm machine screws down here. One's here, and one's here. They look like this. So I already went under there and removed those 3 because you're not going to be able to see that. So remove those, and then get your 5mm, and then you have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The dirty dozen, okay? Also, there's one lone 10mm nut that threads onto a threaded stud that comes out of the door itself into a hole on this door card. I don't know why they did that. I tell you one thing, it's really nice that that's there, because when you go to put this back, once you get that threaded stud through this hole, it's pretty much lined up. So we take these fasteners off, and then there's more of those pop, pop, pop things. There's one down here, there's one here, 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 and then there's one over here somewhere. Okay? So we just remove these fasteners and then just pop it right out. All right? So let's remove the 10mm. Excuse me. Let's remove this 10mm first so we don't forget him. Okay? And then we just start removing these. This is nice, man. It's nice, high impact plastic. It's not cardboard. Boy, I tell you, the noise level around here. But I could think of worse problems to have. So I spent a few $100s on a Ferrari 458 shop manual, and for some reason on this diagram they do not call out having to remove this one machine screw back here. But trust me, you won't get this door card off without removing this. Couple more. Now, of course, as soon as we pop this off, there are going to be a couple of electrical connectors, just like, you know, the other model Ferraris, that we're going to have to unplug. No big thing. I'll have to reposition the camera. One's really easy. The other one is small. There's a little trick to it, but I'll show you. Okay, let me do a visual. Boy, it sounds like a train going by. Okay, anyway, so now we basically just we pop this off, right? So we try to grab it on the bottom and pop one on the bottom. Then we pop the ones off the top. they basically all popped off by themselves, so there we go. Right, we'll make sure that these cables don't get hung up anything. All right, so now I'm going to reposition the camera so that you could see back here on how to remove the two switches, and then we'll be able to take the door card completely away from the car. Okay, so we just took the door card off. I just have it laying here on my knees, right? So we can show these two connectors that we have to disconnect, right? Well, the first one is the airbag. It's wrapped with this foamy adhesive back foam stuff. So you just take that off. And then there's this little blue trigger thing, and you just kind of pull it back, and then this thing just pops right out. Now this one is kind of tricky, right? There's this white connector that goes in this light thing, and then there's a little tab on it in the back. And you have to kind of sort of push that tab down to pull this out. So the easiest way I found to do this is that you just press this little finger, clear plastic finger thing, you press it in, so you can kind of get this a little bit loose, right? And then now you can get back there with a little screwdriver and push that tab down. This is where you need 3 hands, but you push the tab down, right, and then it just pulls right out, okay? And then once that's out, before I take this away, I just want to grab my little light, right, and then just snap it right back in. It's made to snap in and out, so you can replace the light bulb without taking the whole door card off. So we don't want to lose that. And now we can take the door card away. Okay, here we are. Here's the Ferrari OEM mid-range speaker. I won't say this is the cheapest speaker known to man. Okay, I'll say it. This is the cheapest speaker known to man, but it won't be there for long. So you just grab this little tab, squeeze, and take him off. And then this speaker and riser comes off with these 4 3mm machine screws. I'll try to keep my big head out of the way of the camera. Some people will notice there's a big riser here. We won't need a riser. It's not an issue. This Focal Flax Series speaker, there's actually 1 full inch clearance between the back of this magnet and the window. So no worries there. So we remove all that. Now in your kit from Scuderia Audio, we have our adapter plates. So what I do is I buy 304 stainless. I have these laser cut. Then I have a shop TIG weld these stainless fasteners on the back. And then I put this Dynamat, it's called it's made by Dynamat. It's Dynafilm or Dynafoam or something like that. It's a sound deadening material. It's foam. So, you don't want the stainless against this aluminum because it'll just rattle. Plus, there's a little bit of embossing on here, and this foam stuff helps this to sit flat on this surface. So, you just take your 4 little machine screws that come with your kit, and then you line this up. Now, this little plastic gasket, it has a little lip, which is perfect because this can just go right under that lip. It works out really well. So let's see, we fasten this on. Once you get one started, it's easy to go around. And of course, if you purchase ARC Audio or some other mid-range, then your kit will come with, you know, these laser cut a different shape. Okay, then you grab your Focal, and the other 4 machine screws that come with your kit. Don't forget to hook up the electrical. We're not going to do that here. Oh, my knee's in the road. Sorry about that, folks. Surprisingly, Hollywood hasn't called me yet to produce a video for them. All right, now we're ready for some high quality sound. Okay, well, next step, we're going to put the door card back on. So let me reposition the camera and go grab the door card. Okay, so now we're going to put the main door card back on. Let me go get him. Okay, I'll try to stay out of the way of the camera. Remember to plug your little light back in. Then plug Mr. Airbag back in. Where's that adhesive foam? Cover him back up. Make sure all your pop things are in the door card and not left in the door, right? There's one down here, here, and then one down here in the corner, right? So we'll put this back up here. Now remember your cable for your door handle, and then this cable for the latch kind of goes in this back more one, right? And this goes through the middle one, and then this little connector for the airbag kind of sort of sits in there. All right, now remember your 10mm threaded stud. Where is he? He's right. Oh, this thing is heavy. He's right there, okay? We got him right about there. We got him in this back hole coming this way. We got this one with plenty of, okay, that looks good. Then you want to get your 5mm again and just put a couple of fasteners in there to line everything up. Kind of, you know, push on it with your, push up on it with your knee a little bit, right? So it's not hanging on those fasteners. You can just hold it right in place, and then snug up one in the front, one in the back. You can kind of hear the little pop things kind of sort of going in themselves when you kind of start snugging this down, but they'll kind of sort of go in themselves, right? So I'm actually going to fast forward because, right, you just put all 12 of these machine screws back in, right, and then don't forget to put your lone 10mm nut back on that threaded stud. Okay, then I'll do the rest of that, then I'll refocus the camera so we can put that center section back on. Okay, door card's all bolted up. Now excuse me, we'll put this centerpiece in. So we just kind of hold it up there, and you know, you got to make sure that the, you know, remember you have your cable and then your door latch cable. You just got to make sure that they're coming through here, right? And then you line it up, and it'll kind of sort of line itself up because those little pins are nice and long. And then you'll see that it's going to line up with that one, remember that one sole 4mm screw? So you just line it up, and then you just kind of just pop it on there. And let me refocus the camera, and we will put on the door latch. Okay, we have our door latch, and oh, I'm sorry. We'll keep the camera rolling. Duh. I mentioned our sole machine screw. Well, we got to make sure and put him in first. Okay. Now, we have our door latch, so we hook up our little electrical connector. Then we grab our cable. And, you know, you kind of pull him up. And remember, put that little crooked thing in the hole, and then just kind of finagle the cable around. There we go. So it latches on. Now this is a little bit tricky. Remember, there's a pilot hole in the back of this piece, so just kind of have your finger, hold that, and then see, I'm pushing this back so that to stab that into that alignment hole, okay? Once you get it in there, then you can kind of maneuver it and it won't come out of there. Now make sure the cable is out of the way underneath, or it won't mount right. So you want to push the connector back. You want to push as much of this cable back as you can and off to the side, and then just push it backwards like before, down into that little groove. And then down. Oh, nope, you can feel it. You can feel, if the cable's in the road, you can feel a little bit of rocking motion. We don't want that. Okay. Nope. I'm a stickler to get it right. So we're gonna get this cable back. Oh, that's better. Again, we'll make sure we're aligned in that pilot hole. Right, now when we push it back, we got to make sure that connector, now that it's back there, it's interfering. All right, you got to push it way back. That feels better. Okay, now that's solid. Okay. Now we get our little machine screw. Hold this up again and kind of hold it down with your thumb like before. Make sure it's aligned. Kind of tricky a little bit getting into that hole, but once you get it in there and start it, it's easy. It'll basically cinch itself down. Okay, now are we good on the, is this looking good into the camera? No? Okay, we'll refocus the camera and be back in a second to put on the door handle. Okay, so I zoomed the camera out so that we can do the last two remaining pieces with one shot, and then we'll be done. So we put the door handle back in. Right, and we want to start both of those fasteners. You want to push that down in there pretty good so everything will line up. Okay, tighten those guys up. Okay, then you want to pop your cover back on. Then the last thing is our little A-pillar. Remember, there's a little hook. So kind of put it in at an angle, hook it on the bottom. Make sure the little Christmas tree goes into the hole. And then just keep working with it and push it in there until it's flush. And we are done. Okay, well, that's about it. This video applies to the Italia, the 458 Spider, the Speciale, and the Aperta. So if you have any of those cars, you're watching the right video. Okay, well, have a great day.